Okay, so what we are trying to do today is to use this wireframe and build the layout in Tableau. Okay, so as you can tell, this wireframe was previously built and you should have this template on your end. The purpose of this initial 5 to 10 minutes is to use this wireframe that was built in Excel and build the same layout on Tableau. The first page that we'll be working on is the title page. Okay, so let's open Tableau. You will have as the first file the file that we worked on in a previous session. In this previous session, what we did, we created these two worksheets, and then we built this very simple dashboard with two filters. Now, what we are going to do in this new dashboard is to just build only the layout that will mimic what we have on this spreadsheet, only the piece related to the title page. I'm going then to open Tableau, and just because my screen is not that big, I'm going to put this in a different screen. Okay, so but that is what I'll be trying to build. So this is Tableau. Again, I'm using this file that should have already a connection to your data source, and this is a dashboard that it's empty. Okay, so now how do we start doing this? First of all, Tableau uses what they call containers. Containers can only be either horizontal containers or vertical containers, meaning the container will keep horizontal items on a horizontal order, and or the items that will be stacked up on each other. And if you want to do that, you have to select this vertical container when you're building the dashboard. If we look at this dashboard, what we are going to do is I'm going to make the assumption that there's a huge vertical container, and this is the first part and this is the second part. Essentially, what I do need to select is a vertical container, and I'll do that now. Just keep the settings of the size of the dashboard for now. Let's not play with that. Just keep it standard to 1000 by 800. Okay, so I'm going to select this vertical container. Okay, and when I do that, nothing seems to have happened. But when you go to the second tab of the layout, you'll see that you have this little vertical container added to the title. So we are going to rename this as where is the rename? This is going to be like okay, so this is the main vertical. You don't really need to do this, but just to make sure that we're talking on the to exactly know where we are, it's that I am adding this name. So when you are building a dashboard, the container may have a number of attributes. You'll have the position, so X, Y position, the height and the width. The container may have a border. The container may have a background color, and the container may also have outer or inner padding. Okay, so in this case, just to try to mimic this to what we have here, I'm going to try to find a color that's fairly similar to this one, to this container, the container that I'm highlighting right now. Okay, and let's try to find a color, and see, this is fairly similar, right? So I don't know if it's not 100% same, but it's telling us that we have our container here. Now, the problem was that I do have the elements here stacked vertically, right? So then, and what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to add another container inside this one. And the first one is going to be a horizontal because of this is what I want at the top. This is going to be the horizontal container that will be contained into this big one. Okay, so now what I do want is a horizontal container inside this big one, inside the big one, and by the big one I mean the one that I'm highlighting at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to put this down and let's do a horizontal. I'm going to drag the horizontal object here, and it seems that nothing happened, but right after I'm going to add a text. Okay, and then this is going to be a horizontal text. Okay, you will see what I'm doing this nonsense, but sometimes it's better just to add text so you will know where the container is. Okay, so now remember I told you that if you see the layout, you will see that this vertical container has inside a horizontal container, and within that horizontal container there's a piece of text. Okay, the next thing I want to do is also add an additional horizontal container which will contain the elements that we have in the bottom part of this wireframe. Okay, and that is exactly what I will try to do here. I am going to add inside this big dashboard a horizontal container, a new horizontal container, right? How do I do that? I'll just select the object, horizontal object, and I'm going to just place it here. How do I know it is there? Let's cancel this. I'm going to make this text a little bit bigger so you will know, and I'm going to add this horizontal container. At that point I do have now one horizontal container at the top and one horizontal container at the bottom, and the two of them are inside a vertical container. How do I know that? Because of, you'll see them here, this main vertical, the horizontal at the top, which only has one text, and the horizontal container at the bottom. Now let's change this text here, say to let's change this the name of the container and rename here text. Let's see, this top container. Okay, and then this one I'm going to rename it bottom container. Okay, so and then inside this bottom container I am going to add just a piece of text just to know where I am. Okay, bottom text, bottom container text. Okay, so and what do you know what you did? So when you add a piece of text to a container, what it will do is just to use the size required by the objects inside. Since I want this to be a little bit bigger, I'll make it just a little bit bigger. That's what I did, right? So, and let's take a look at the layout again. So you have the main vertical, which is the big container, right? So you see it goes all the way to our rectangle, and inside that we have the top and the bottom container, and inside each of these top containers we have at the moment just two pieces of text. Okay, now that's not what we really want to build, right? So what we need to build here is to have these three objects at the top, right? So, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to split this into let's do 4 pieces, right? So I'm going to add one container for the logo, one container, one image here, one piece of text here, and one date here. Okay, let's see how we build that. At this point, I'm going to add 3 additional containers. Okay, let's see if blank works. So I'm going to add a blank container at the top. Okay, and it's just a blank container, right? So there's nothing inside. And I also need an image, because I want to add the logo. Okay, and I'm going to just drag this image here. It doesn't matter where I place them at the beginning. I'm going to just place them where I want as I finalize the layout. And let's choose. Do I have an image somewhere? Let's see if this works. Okay, let's see if this works now. So I'm going to select a new image here. Edit image. You can select whatever image you want. In this case, I do have an image here in the C temp. I believe it's here. Okay, so this is my logo, right? So this is going to be my logo. You can have your own image and then replace it with this one. And then once we have this, let's go back to our layout. So we have the logo here. Yes, it's not placed where it should be, but for now it doesn't matter. We also need a title. For the title, what I'm going to do is just a new piece of text here. This is going to be my text. Let's say this is my title. Okay, my title is business dashboard. Business dashboard. Okay, so you can do a few things here. You can change the font depending on how you want to do it. You can change it. You can play with the color. You can center this and blah blah. It's up to you what title you want to provide to your title page. In this case, let's just do this title page, right? Title page. That's what it is, but you can change it anyways. And then do insert, and then we have the title page here. For now, don't worry about where this is placed. We're going to deal with that later. And say the date. Okay, the date is again, it's going to be just another piece of text. And let's say, I don't know, when are we going to do the presentation? 2021, April. Let's say it's 22nd, I believe, but you just have to have the right date. I'm just making up the dates for now. Again, you can change the date, the color, font, okay, and so on. So now let's try to make this this top container a little bit nicer. For that, what usually you will see is that there are blank containers in between your objects. That's exactly what I will do now. I'm going to just add, say, this blank container here. I'm going to add another blank container in between my title page and these two guys. And just in case, let me add a new more blank container here. So now this is going to help me to place my elements the way I want them to be displayed in the end. So one thing that you need to know, so once we have all these elements, is that if we go back to the hierarchy under the layout tab, you will see that we do have the top container that includes now all of these things, right? So the blank, our logo, more blank, more title page, all the way to the horizontal text. Say, what I really want is that to just have a little margin here on the far left. Then I want this to be potentially like maybe like this. This is good enough. So my title, I want to just adjust it a little bit here. I want my title page to go potentially to here, right? The date, I want it to be a little bit wider, and it seems that I already have, at least it's fairly close, right? So it's not 100% close. But now let's change the color of this, right? So of the container at the top, because of at least I do have the elements here. Let me just do one thing here. So fit image. Okay, so let me just do one thing so this is a little bit nicer. You have to play with this in terms of what type of image you have for your logo. But what I want to do now is to make sure that the container at the top has its own unique color. Okay, so how do I do that? When you want to change the color of the container, the background of the container, you need to select the container, the main container. This is the main container, right? And what I'm going to do is I want to change that color, the container of that color, the color of that container to this kind of gray that we see at the top on our wireframe. How do I do that? Like once I'm selecting the top container, okay, you just need to go under the background, and I guess it's a little bit brighter, right? Yeah, this is fairly close, right? So that's what you have here. We do have the logo, we have the title page, we have the date, and what we need, you no longer need this text, and I'm going to delete it. And then this is what we have. We have the our logo, title page, and our date. Fairly close, not 100% close. We'll need a few more details for that, but for now it's working. Okay, so now once we have that top portion, let's now focus on what we have at the bottom. Okay, let's go and check this. This is the bottom container. For now it's empty, right? The bottom container has two horizontal pieces, right? So you see this horizontal portion here, in which at some point we will have filters. For a title page you need a filter, but you still need that section. So you will replicate most of this when you're working on your national and FA views. Let's do that then, right? So what I want is two containers at the bottom, right? So say this, and this is the bottom, right? So this is the bottom container, and just because I want to differentiate the color, I'm going to change the background color of this container. And then, for me to do that, I have to select the container, and then under, but you have to select really the bottom container, otherwise the color will be changed somewhere else. Okay, I'm selecting the bottom container, and then here in the background I'm going to select something that's closer to this color I have on my wireframe. I don't know what color this is. Close enough, or okay, let's pick this one then, right? So now in this on this container, what we have are two additional containers, right? So we have this section. What happened here? They have this section here, and then we have this section, right? And let's just say that this is going to be a vertical container, and this is going to be a horizontal container. Okay, so which is placed into this big container. Okay, so as you can tell, it's just a box with inside a box, right? So I'm just opening more and more boxes into the containers. Let's see how we do this. I do have this text, which is just here inside my container. I'm going to add now a vertical container. How do I do that? I have to go to the dashboard piece and select the vertical container. And you notice that you have this little gray area in the same container. So I'm going to click it there. And if you open the layout, you will see that there's a vertical container here. And I just need that to be the size, right? So perfect. And now I also need a new vertical container on this side, right? So, and that's what I'm exactly going to do. I'm going to add a vertical container now. And the vertical container is going to be here. Okay. The reason why I add these pieces of text here is because of it allows me to see where the container is. There's no reason for me to, or there's no other reason for me to have these pieces of text floating here. So if we go back to the layout, you'll see that you have now what happened here. The bottom container. No, something's wrong. Let's try this again. So let me just add a new horizontal container or horizontal object. So just a new object here, and let's see if this text will be in the. Okay, perfect. So in my little bottom container, I do have this vertical element and this piece of text. And what I do want is one more element in between these two. So what I'm going to do is, again, a new horizontal container here, or I'd rather do vertical, and this is going to be in between these two, right? So when I go to this, what happened? When I go to okay, let's try this again. So under this container, I do have a vertical element and a piece of text, right? So, and let me just make this a little bit bigger so we can. So what I really want is add a vertical element in between these two, right? How do I do that? Let's just select a vertical element, and I want it to be here, okay? And if we see the layouts now, we should have under this bottom container, we do have two vertical elements. This is the first one, this is the second one, and this is a piece of text. And I no longer need, this is the vertical, but I no longer need this guy. Yes, I don't need anymore. So and the bottom, then the vertical, bottom container, okay. But they are not under the same container. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So I do have this tile container, and then I do have the bottom container. Let's do rename this here as left. And let's do this name as right. Okay, so on this side we need more elements. That's why I'm adding more pieces here. So what do we have then here? How close are we? At least we do seem to have this section, right? So we do have this section which will hold horizontal vertical elements, and we do have this section just in which we're going to have a course title, school instruction, and so on. Let's see what else we can do here. So we have these two vertical elements, and under these two vertical elements, what I need to have is let's just do it for two pieces. Just the title, text inside this. This is the title. Let's just say what is this? Business case. And whatever title you want to add. Say you can change the fonts. I have to select it first. Let's say 14. And if you want to highlight, if you want to just add a little line under the title, underscore the thing, and now let's say this is going to be your business case, right? So the next thing you want to do is let's do let's see the names of the team in a horizontal element here. Yeah, let's make it, and then let's do the text. See here we're gonna have all these pieces, and we'll just copy and paste them. Control C. I'm gonna paste them from those from the from the spreadsheet. Just copy and paste them. Then I do OK. So, and then this should be, yeah, so then we have here this. And the next piece is that I also want a piece of text, or either even here, right? So let's just edit the text. You can say course title, or let's just do course title. I don't know, like whatever the title, our title. You just fill in the blanks. You can just make it align it if you want to. Okay, so and then under team members, you're gonna have a bunch of names, right? So in the team members, just do your ID. Let's say this is my ID, and then Mistario, and your last name Medina. And let's say the next one is to the side. I don't know why that happened. Let's say my next name is this. That's my ID. It's team Mendel. Let's say the next one is this one, and then it's Chris Peterson. Okay, you can have as many lines as you want. So then we have now our second piece, which is fairly similar to what we have. Yes, there's some few elements that are missing, but let's try to make this a little bit nicer so it looks closer to what we had on our wireframe. So we no longer need this. Let's just do something. Okay, so let's change the color of this, which I don't know if we can do this. Edit text. Let's do a container. That's the container. Let's change the color of the container. Okay, so that's what we had. It's a little green thing. Okay, that's good enough. So if that's what you want to keep, let's just set a little border here. Okay, let's make the border a little bit more, a little bit darker. So then we have this, and let's just add one element in between these two so we can place our title better. All I'm doing is just placing blank elements so I can place them. I can place my text as in the position I wanted to position it. So this is going to be, let's change it. Let's change the color of this. Layout, background. Let's just do white. Okay. I believe this is gray. It's supposed to be white. So okay. No, this is white then. Let's see that this works. So okay. So this should be good. Let's just do this a little bit better. In this case, vertical. Okay, so this will be the color. This is the title page. Okay, so do we need this one? I don't really know. May not need it. That's good enough. Okay. So let's just do this. Is this layer container? So let's just do wait, so it doesn't. Yeah, you can't. So this is white. Let's just do this white too. We don't need this text. So why do we need to make this? Okay. So let's do the same here. Layer container, no background. Okay, so let's do one more thing here. Okay, so I am selecting the bottom container, right, and I'm going to add some padding here so it shows what I'm doing. Okay, and then I'm going to add a border. Okay, so, and then let's do some outer padding as well. Okay, so it clearly shows that we have our, you can change the colors of this, so it's entirely up to you if you want to keep these colors or not. I believe we don't need this anymore because of container text. Yeah, we don't need it. And this should be our title page. So I understand it's not 100% close to this, but it's close enough, and you can add some additional elements to make it nicer, change the color and so on. You should be able to see how the colors are. Remember, it's always about understanding how the containers work here, and sometimes it does help to have to just add a background color so you will know where your container is. Let's do just one final thing here before we stop. Outer padding, inner padding. Okay, let's do a 4. Let's do a 4 here too, and then let's add a little border so you'll see where the container ends and where it starts. Okay, so this is what we have here. So this would be your title page. Just change the colors, and you would end up your final product. Okay.